This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life, your money, your relationships, your work, everything that matters to you. I'm George Camel, Ramsey personality, and I will be your host today with no co-host. That's right, I'm flying solo, and I want to talk. I want to talk about your money. I want to talk about what you're worried about, what you're excited about. On this show, we dive into the lowest points of people's lives. We celebrate the highest of highs with them, and we talk about everything in between. So if you've got a question, give us a call. The number is 888-825-5225. And if you are, let's say, under 25 years old, I want to give you a quick pro tip here. Pull out your phone. There's an app that says phone, and you tap that, and then you're going to dial 888-825-5225. Our friend Austin is going to pick up in the booth, and he will patch you in, and we can talk about things. Maybe you want some confirmation. Maybe you need some affirmation. Maybe you just need a third party who's a little unbiased to tell you that you're doing great, or maybe I can slap you around a little bit and walk you off a ledge. That's what I'm here for. Justin is going to kick us off this hour. He's in Tampa, Florida. Justin, welcome to the show.
Hey, George, how are you?
Doing great, my man. How can I help?
So, quick question for you. I'll give you, I guess, a brief background. I am on baby step 4, and I'm going to be getting married this December. And when I get married, my fiance and I are going to be starting out in baby step 2. And so just kind of trying to think about our living situation right now. I'm anticipating my rent going up here the next couple of months when my lease is up. And so my question for you is, my parents have actually offered to, I guess, buy a house for my fiance and I and allow us to live there and pay them the mortgage. And then when we're able to get our debt paid off and save up a down payment, we could then buy the house from them. Didn't know if that was a good idea. Honestly, kind of a prideful person and don't really like the idea of them buying a house for me because I want to feel like I've done it on my own. But I don't know. Just wanted to see what your thoughts were on it.
That's a great question, man. There's a lot of wisdom just in the way that you've been talking and how you said, hey, we're going to be in baby step 2 once we get married because she's coming in with debt and it's going to become we. And the question really becomes, what's the relationship like with your parents? And are you going to be okay with this decision?
So my relationship with my parents is, I don't know if it could get any better, to be honest with you. Really open about our finances together. They do my taxes for me because they're accountants. So I mean, we're really all on the same page. I don't know. Part of me wants to feel like I did it all on my own and not ask for help. But then the other part of me says, well, if this is going to help us get out of debt faster, then maybe it's not a bad idea.
Now, are they in a financial place to buy another house? Do they have their mortgage paid off?
Yeah.
So they're in baby step 7, paid for house, and they just want to kind of bless you guys by creating the situation where you can rent and then one day buy it from them.
Yes.
That's very kind of them. Well, here's what I'm wondering about. Are they going to charge you market rent? Or are they going to charge you
yes.
way less than they could make?
Oh, no. It would be we would just pay them whatever the mortgage payment is up until we were able to buy the house from them and then just kind of take it over from there.
Okay. But you don't know what that amount will be yet.
I don't. I mean, I haven't really gone into the weeds with them yet, on what the price range of the house would be or anything like that, mostly because I haven't really felt like I wanted them to do this. Not to sound like a broken record, but because I wanted to do it on my own.
Well, that's what I keep coming back to, man. It sounds like you're going to, even if this all works out perfectly, you're still going to sit there and go, man, I don't feel like I did that quite on my own. It feels like I got a little handicap there, and I kind of got to leapfrog a step. So I don't think there's anything wrong with either situation, but I think you're leaning towards pulling yourself up by the bootstraps and doing the hard work and saving up the down payment and being patient. And I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. What do you know what your income will be when you're married?
It'll probably be, if it was based on income from last year, it'll be about 150,000.
Whoa.
But I expect that to go up.
Dude, that's incredible. Well, here's what I'm thinking. You guys have a great income. You're going to pay off her debt pretty soon, right? It's not going to take longer than a few years, 2 years?
I don't even think it'll take that long. I've done a pretty good job of saving up money on my own, and so my goal is to, with the progress that she makes this year, and then when we get married and combine finances, I'm hoping by that time I'll just be able to write checks and pay it all off at the end of the year.
Well, I think you have this conversation with mom and dad and you say, hey, thank you so much for your generous offer. I love you guys. I love the way you've raised me. I appreciate this, but we want to do this on our own and we want to kind of start this new chapter. And that's no diss to you. I really want to do this on my own to prove to myself that we can do this and that we're financially set. And that seems like the route that's going to leave you the happiest. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would. I don't know. If the math part just starts popping in my head to where, if we could get a slightly lower mortgage payment than a rent payment, would that allow us to make, maybe a little bit more, if I'm not able to save up all the money necessary by the end of the year.
How old are you?
With a lower 25.
Yeah, you're doing great, man. There's no rule that says you have to have a house at 25 and you have to have a house as soon as you're married. I think it's totally fine to rent for a while and get to know your new spouse and just hang out, and you're going to have a whole bunch of quirks to figure out just with being married. The last thing you need on top of that is kind of this weird quasi-home ownership with mom and dad tied to it, and there's a relational element, but there's this business transaction that needs to happen, and I think it's going to be better for everyone if you just do it on your own.
Okay.
Yeah, dude.
Perfect.
Yeah. Good luck with it. Hey, can I give you a wedding present?
Sure.
Do you have Ramsey Plus right now?
I do. My fiance does not.
Boom. Okay. Well, let's get you 1 year of Ramsey Plus. Is she on board with the plan?
She is.
Well, she's going to be extra on board now. So I want you guys to watch FPU together. All those Financial Peace University videos. Has she seen them before?
No.
Okay, this is going to be a game changer for you guys. This is the best premarital counseling I can give you, is to watch all 9 lessons of Financial Peace University, jump onto Every Dollar Plus as our premium budgeting tool, make your first budget together when you guys are married later this year, and then start making a plan for what this looks like. Hey, how fast are we going to pay off this debt? How fast are we going to build the emergency fund? We're going to start investing and saving for the down payment. You guys get a plan for your lives together, and your marriage is going to be great regardless of your parents helping you out. So hang on the line, man.
That would be awesome.
Austin's going to pick up. Congratulations on the impending wedding, on the impending house purchase. You guys are doing great. We need more Justins in this world. Hey, this is The Ramsey Show. Give us a call, 888-825-5225. I'm George Camel. We'll be back with you.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, Ramsey personality, host of the Fine Print podcast and the Entree Leadership podcast, all of which you can find wherever you listen to great podcasts from the Ramsey Network. Okay, I got to talk about something. Got to get something off of my chest. So I'm a millennial, and so I keep up with the burgeoning social media trends that are out there, and one of those is TikTok. I do it for you guys so that I know what's going on out there so I can fill you all in. And there's a lot of, how do I say this, financial gurus out there who can't grow facial hair yet, and they are giving some terrible financial advice that truly makes my blood boil. And it's one of the reasons why I want to get in there. I don't want to become a TikTok star. I just have to get in the middle of the mess and walk everyone off the ledge because they're listening to 60-second videos and then making huge financial decisions because of it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to play a video that producer James found that made my blood boil. He really knows how to push my buttons. We're going to react to it, and then we're going to teach you guys a better way. So let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
When I'm 30, I want to be debt-free and own no credit cards. You know, you might regret that. What? How? Well, how are you planning on getting a house or a car? Yeah, I'm just gonna use all cash. By chance, did Dave Ramsey teach you this? Yes, why? That advice is for people who are already in debt or don't know how to manage their money. The truth is, credit cards can help build your credit, which is very important. And if you pay them off in full, you'll never owe any interest. And with housing prices so high, good credits might be the only way most people are gonna be able to get a house. Now that I think about it, saving up $400,000 in cash doesn't sound very reasonable. That advice might work for some, but personal finance should never be a one-size-fits-all. Follow to learn the truth.
Okay, wow. That moved so fast, I thought I was having a stroke for a second. All right, I don't want to have to watch that again, so let me recap it for you because he was moving pretty fast. He was saying that it is unwise to save up $400,000 cash to get a house, and that our advice is terrible. And on top of that, that you need to be building your credit score. You need to be opening that credit card, going into debt, staying in debt, paying it off all perfectly so that you can build that beautiful FICO score. I'm here to tell you that he ended it with learn the truth. Follow to learn the truth. And the truth is that is a lie. And here's why I know that's a lie, because I have purchased a house without a credit score, and I didn't save up $400,000 cash to do it. And what he's doing is he's playing into the FOMO that a lot of young people feel out there, where they go, man, the Dave Ramsey guy, he wants us to save up and pay cash for a house? That's insane. That'll take me 38 years. Why wouldn't I just put zero down and get in on this, and then I'll get more real estate and I can leverage more debt, but also I have a car payment, I have student loans, I've got medical bills, and then life crushes you, and you go, well, that advice sounded good in theory, but in reality, I want to have financial peace. And so let me tell you our actual advice when it comes to housing, just to make things clear. Yes, we don't want you to have any debt at all. The only type of debt that we won't yell at you for is a 15-year fixed-rate mortgage where you can put 10 to 20% down, and the payment ends up being no more than a quarter of your take-home pay. That's exactly what I did, me and my wife. In fact, we put more than 20% down because we didn't want to be in debt any longer than we had to. And so we sacrificed, we did side jobs, we hustled for a long period of time in order to put that much down. And then we ended up paying off the house in 26 months. And we did our debt-free scream just a few months back, and it was incredible. On top of that, when we got the mortgage, we did not have a credit score because we had paid off our debt long ago. And that leaves your credit score indeterminable. And so you've all heard that you want to have, 750, 800, 850 perfect credit score in order to go into debt. That's all it is. It's an I love debt score. It's playing kissy face with the bank. And too many young people are learning this, and guess who they're learning it from? Their parents. When they turn 18, the parents go, you got to open a credit card. And they go, why? Well, you got to have the credit score. Well, why? So you can get a car loan, so you can get a massive mortgage with nothing down. Here's what a credit score is made up of. 35% debt history, 30% current debt level, 15% how long you've been in debt, 10% any new debt, 10% type of debt. Are you hearing a theme? Debt. That's right. So, you don't need a credit score to buy a car because we're going to pay cash for cars. I've done it multiple times. It's amazing. They'll actually take your money. You don't need to use credit cards to build your score because we're paying cash for things with our debit card and we're budgeting. You don't need it to rent a car, and I can tell you that because I've done it multiple times. Sometimes they'll just add a buffer. Maybe, let's say, 20% of your total will be added as a deposit on your checking account temporarily. You don't need it to rent a house or an apartment. And I've called all over the country. We did this on the fine print on our credit score episode, and almost every single one said, oh, I mean, that's fine if you don't have a score. Now, a low score will hurt you, but no score, that's fine. You just might need to pay an extra, first month, last month, an extra deposit. That's it. And then finally, the big one, you don't need it to buy a house. And our friends at Churchill Mortgage do this every day. It's called manual underwriting or a no-score loan. And they do it like they did back in the old days, where they just look at your actual financial picture. They look at pay stubs, your W-2s, do you pay your utility bills, that kind of thing. And they go, okay, well, based on your situation, we're happy to give you a loan because we know you're going to pay it back. And so that's what we did. And most people are shocked by this. I did a media hit for a news station over in Chicago, and they were just flabbergasted that someone could even buy a house without a credit score. And so we need to start dispelling these myths. And parents, you got to stop telling your kids this. And TikTokers, you got to stop spreading this misinformation, because that video has millions of views. And the comments are all very thankful, and they're all going, yeah, that Dave Ramsey guy, man, what a scam artist. Because he tells you to get out of debt and stay out of debt, because he wants you to build wealth and have financial peace. So, TikTok at your own risk. I'm not telling you to go there. I'm just telling you, if you want some entertainment or you want to get angry, it's a fun place to be. All right, let's move on to Joey in San Antonio, Texas. Joey, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. How can I help?
So I've had a really good 6 to 9 months financially for me, and what it's done is it's jumped me ahead to baby step 4.
Awesome.
I'm starting, investing for retirement and really looking into it. And I have an IRA, a Roth IRA, and a current 401k that my company opened when I started there. And my question to you is, should I be investing in the 401k if my company doesn't do any match, or should I be starting with the Roth IRA first? And
that is a great question.
Secondly, because it was auto opened and I've already got $9K in there, should I be keeping it in there, or is there something I can do with that to better serve myself if I'm not going to be matching it?
This is a traditional 401k, not a Roth 401k?
Yeah, it's a regular 401k and a Roth IRA that I have.
Do they have a Roth 401k option?
They don't.
Okay. Well, our methodology is we move from Roth. We move from the match to Roth to traditional. So match beats Roth beats traditional. So if you have a zero match, we're going to move to the Roth options first. That will grow for us tax-free. So yes, I would be fully funding the Roth IRA up to the total. What's your income?
45 to 60.
Okay, so let's go on the high end. Let's say $60,000. That's going to be $9,000 a year. So if you fully fund the Roth IRA, let's say $6,000, that leaves $3,000 that we're going to go back to that traditional 401k and put over there.
Okay.
And that's how I do it. I would leave the $9,000 in there. We don't tell you to roll that to the Roth until you're at baby step 7 with a paid-for house, because we have bigger financial goals, and you're going to have a tax hit when you try to move that to a Roth account from traditional.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then if you're okay with that, I've got one more question.
Sure, hit me fast.
Saving up for a car, should I just be putting that in a savings account, or should I be doing something smarter with that if I'm looking at a year or two away?
A year or two away is not enough of a timeline to be investing. I would just put it in a sinking fund in a good savings account, money market account, high-yield savings account. I know it's hilarious because it's like 0.5%, not quite high yield. But stay the course. Don't put it in anything volatile. Put it somewhere liquid where you have access to it a year from now without any issues. Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're not using Pure Talk for your wireless, you're paying too much. Pure Talk gives you the same great 5G coverage on the same 5G network as one of the big guys for half the cost. The average family saves over $800 a year. Go to puretalk.com and choose the affordable plan that's right for you. With their 30-day risk-free guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ramsey personality George Camel, and I am your host today. Listen, people are craving connection, they're craving community, and they're craving the energy that only comes from humans being with other humans. We hear you, and we need it too. And that is why we're bringing back our life-changing events back on the road. And we are not holding back this year. First up, we've got Building Wealth Live, and we are coming to Orlando on Thursday, May 19th. This event is selling super fast, so if you're waiting around to buy your ticket, don't do that, because it's going to sell out. This event is going on tour this year, and we're going to have more locations to share with you guys really soon. We're also bringing our largest event of the year to Dallas, Texas on October 22nd. That's right, Smart Conference is back. We're going to have all of our personalities there. Myself, Rachel Cruz, Dr. John Deloney, Ken Coleman, Dave Ramsey, Christina Ellis, Pedro Latorre, and our good friends Craig and Amy Grichelle from Life Church will be there as well, talking about marriage. You do not want to miss this. If you've never been to a Ramsey event, or you want to get someone in your life on board with the Ramsey plan, this is the best way to get them dunked and indoctrinated here. We're hitting every single topic, not just money. We're talking about career, relationships, mental health. If you want to learn more about all of the events that we're planning this year, go to ramseysolutions.com/events. Open phone lines this hour. The number to call is 888-825-5225. Sarah is joining us in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Sarah, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, George. I'm in baby step 2, and I'm on my last 13,000, but we got a bit of a curveball, and now we have a student loan that's in collection that has reared its ugly head. And my question is, what do I need to do in order to negotiate some kind of settlement? Because I don't want to do month-to-month payments with a collection agency.
So you want to pay in full with a lump sum, ideally?
Yes.
How old is this debt?
My husband had paid on it, I think, for a couple of years doing month-to-month out of his bank account. When we got married, I said we can't do that. So it's been over a year since it had transferred collection agencies, and we haven't touched it.
So you haven't made a payment in over a year?
Yeah.
How did it end up in collections? Were you just not able to make the payments anymore?
I'm assuming that's what happened, yes, probably.
It's your husband's?
Correct.
How much is the current balance?
I believe it's between $5,500 and $7,000, somewhere around there.
Okay.
My guess would be about $6,000.
And is that included in your $13,000 for baby step 2?
No, because that's $13,000 is our active debt, so it's a small student loan and a car loan.
Okay. How much cash do you guys have on hand between all your savings?
If I were to include my emergency fund, $4,000.
$4,000.
But I have $3,000 set aside. Yeah, I have $4,000 if I really needed to max it. But I would like to just use $3,000 of it if possible.
What's the margin right now? If you guys tighten it up and you stop eating out, you cut all the expenses, you work extra, how much margin could you create each month?
Well, on debt, I was paying off about $2,500 to $3,000 on debt.
Every month?
So I could pause. Yes, I could pause and switch it over to this bad debt snowball, if you will.
Have you talked to the collection agency?
I was going to call them today, but I didn't want to call them because, sometimes you get frustrated, and I just am seeking guidance to how to, one, be calm on the phone with them, and just some guidelines or tips on how to prepare myself and negotiate with them because they lie. I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, number one, I want you to confirm this debt in writing. They have to legally do that. They have to confirm every single little detail. Otherwise, it can get thrown out. And so that's step number one, is actually confirm the age, the amount of the debt, and make sure they have the authority to actually collect on this debt. So you can formally request that from the debt collector when you call them. And you can also make sure, this is big, do not give them access to your checking account. When you talk to them, say, hey, listen, here's how much I can do. If that's the real balance, you get the letter in writing in the mail or emailed. Then say, hey, listen, I know the debt is $7,000. What would you be willing to take if I was able to give you a lump sum today? And if they say $3,000 would do it, I'm writing them that check today.
But I should get that in writing before I
get it,
send them
everything in writing. Because like you said, they can tell you one thing on the phone and they go, nope, you still owe some more money. And you go, no, the guy on the phone said. And so you've got to have this in writing before we make any decisions when it comes to negotiating.
Okay.
And once you do that, we're moving on to the other debts that you've been making the minimum payments on. But I like the idea of doing it in a lump sum, getting a deal on paying off this debt. But at the end of the day, this is the debt. And if they say, no, we're not willing to negotiate, and they are just keep fighting you on it, then you're going to have to pay up. But I would get that thing out of your life. You do not want those collectors. They're relentless. They're never going to stop. So the best thing you can do is be proactive and call them more than they call you, to where they want you out of their life.
It's called twice. Yeah, they called them our in-laws, and I was like, oh, geez.
Yeah, that's not a fun thing to deal with. I hate that you guys are going through that. But I would try to negotiate. I mean, usually they'll take half of what the debt is, especially if it's years old. If this was 3 months ago, you'd have a harder time.
But you think because it's been at least a year almost, I think May.
The more time that goes by, the less likely they feel like they're going to get any money. And so they're going to take what they can get at that point. And let them know, hey, listen, this is the money I have to my name. You can either take this, or it's going to be a long time before you're going to get your money back.
So I'd want to confirm I guess just to recap, I'd want to confirm the debt, the age, the amount, whether they actually have the authority to do it, whether it's email or hard copy mail to me. No access to bank information or personal information like that. And then if they are willing to negotiate an amount, whether that's an email or hard copy letter to myself, then how is the best way to pay them? A personal check or something like from my bank, like a cashier's check? Yeah,
a cashier's check would do fine. I just would not just give them blind access to your checking account through, your routing number and checking account number and all that.
Okay.
Sound good? And then you're going to continue on. You won't have much debt at that point. What's your total income?
Total income, $160,000 together.
This whole thing's going to be gone in a few months.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We were at $120,000 a couple years ago, and now we're at the
tail end. You can see the light at the end of this tunnel.
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. So I was very lucky right before I got engaged. Like right after I got engaged, I started on your guys' program, and 6 months into my marriage, I became debt-free, and then kind of just put it on the back burner when I got married. But since COVID, I just said to my husband, let's get this done. We're too young. We make too much money. Let's just get her done. And I'm just so thankful for it because we are this close, and this is real now. So
that's amazing.
It's really helped me.
That's so great to hear. So is your husband on board with this plan?
Yes, he just wanted me to call, I guess, because he's quick to get a little bit more temperamental than I am.
Oh, so he delegated this to you because he was like, I'm not going to say anything nice to these people.
Yeah, he was afraid he'd get bent out of shape, and I told him I will take the big step back, and I'll get all the information that we know.
Stay calm, cool, and collected.
And it'll be fine. It will be fine. I think he just worries about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, hey, give us a call back when you're debt-free, Sarah. I'm excited for you guys.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, George.
Yeah, stay the course. Thank you so much for the call. Folks, listen, if you are where Sarah's at and you feel that feeling in your chest where you almost can't breathe because you have this debt looming in your life, I want you to have a vision beyond Friday because you're living paycheck to paycheck. I want you to have a vision for your life where you sit down with your spouse and go, we don't have to live like this. we can get this debt out of our life, we can stay out of debt, we can make a plan for the future, we can build wealth, and we can have financial peace. That's what the whole plan is about. This is a get-rich-slow scheme, and it works every time you work it. But you have to make a decision and go, we've got to do something different. We've got to become a different person than we are today. And when you do that, man, that is the first step to freedom. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, Ramsey personality and host of the Fine Print and Entree Leadership Podcast. And I'll be your host today on The Ramsey Show. So give us a call, 888-825-5225. Whatever's on your mind, whatever's freaking you out, whatever you're excited about, I love to talk with you, celebrate with you, guide you through whatever is going on in your life. Stephen has decided to join us. He's in Cleveland, Ohio. Stephen, welcome to the show.
Hi. So I'll get right to it. Currently, I'm 26 years old. I'm debt-free except for my house.
Awesome.
I'm currently making $70K a year and contributing 15% to my Roth 401k. I'm engaged, set to be married in October. My fiance is currently in school getting a master's. She's going to graduate with about $120K in student loans. I've been paying her housing and living expenses for the last 2 years, so I'm a little house poor, I guess you can say. As we get closer to this wedding in October, I'm a little worried about having the funds ready for a wedding and honeymoon. And I guess I'm wondering if it's okay to back off or stop retirement savings to have the extra cash for the wedding.
So you've been paying her housing bills for how long?
Yes, just under 2 years now.
Why?
I didn't want her to end up taking more in student loans.
Man, well, it's a bold move for sure, a strange one, to be paying someone's housing bills that you're not married to. What happens if it doesn't work out? Would you have any resentment for paying all the bills for a long time?
We've been together for 8 years now, so I guess we're pretty confident.
Okay. Well, I'll focus on your question here about how to pay for this wedding. Is it all on you guys to pay? Have you guys had the conversations with family?
Yeah, so like right now I probably am maybe like 7 or 8 short of my goal. And if I was to pause retirement, I'm pretty sure I'd be there by the time the wedding comes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay saving for something like this and pausing retirement for a short period of time, especially, how old are you?
26.
You're 26. So you're going to be okay pausing this thing for a few months to make sure that we're set for the wedding. Do you guys have a wedding budget currently?
Yeah.
Okay. How much is the total?
The total is right around $30K. We got 10 from her parents, and I got the rest.
Okay, so $20K is on you, and you have how much saved right now?
Just under 14.
Okay, so you only have 6 to go then.
Yep.
Could you continue to invest and still have the margin to save up and pay for this?
It doesn't look like it. I've been trying to see what else we could cut back on. And
is she working?
Else, but it seems like
while she's in school?
No, she's not.
Is she able to?
No, she's going for a med school thing, and she's not allowed to work per program.
Well, it's a tough situation because I don't like the idea of you continuing to pay her housing bills even until the wedding. And I don't really want you to pause investing. I'm okay with it because I don't want you to go in debt for the wedding. So if this is the only other option, then this is where we're at. How much longer is she going to be in med school?
She graduates in August, so only like 4 or 5 more months.
Okay, and then she'll have income.
Yep.
Okay. Well, here my wedding parameters are this. Don't ever spend more than you have in cash, regardless of who's paying for it. And there is no Ramsey parameter for wedding spending, but my personal parameter would be not to spend more than a third of your gross income if you're paying for it yourself. So in your case, you're putting 20 grand in and you make 70. So you're not outrageous there, and you've already had the conversations. Do you have a checking account that is just for the wedding budget?
Yes.
Okay, great. And you have exactly what you need in that wedding budget, and you're not going to go over?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I feel good about this plan then. I don't love it. It's not my favorite plan. But if this is where you're at and you're getting married and you said October, and it's currently March, so we've got time. But I would try to work extra. I'd try to save so that you don't have to pause retirement, or you can get back to it real quick. I would try to hunker down, get this money saved up, keep it aside in that savings account for the wedding, and then continue investing.
Okay. Now, I guess one other question with that is I do have a motorcycle that's paid for. That's worth about $10K. I mean, I could easily sell that and probably be clear for the wedding.
I love that plan. Are you willing to sell it? Is it going to hurt you emotionally?
A little bit, but...
But you have another vehicle.
I do, yeah. I got 2 other vehicles, actually.
Oh, wow. You have 2 other vehicles.
Yep.
You just love things with motors, don't you?
I do.
What does the value of all of those add up to? All the vehicles you have, anything with a motor in it?
Probably right around $50K.
Yeah, that's too much vehicle when you're making 70. We say no more than 50% should be tied up in things with motors in it. So, yes, I'm selling that motorcycle, and congratulations, you now have a wedding fund, and you get to keep investing.
Gotcha.
That hurt, didn't it? I can feel it in your voice. You didn't want to hear that. But hey, you brought it up, man. I didn't know you had a motorcycle. You were keeping secrets from me. I didn't know we had options
There's
here.
There's more motorcycles in the world.
Exactly. And once you get rid of her debt, you know what I would do? Once you guys become debt-free, you pay off that $120,000 in student loans, make it a gift to yourself to save up and get yourself a motorcycle. If she's okay with it. I mean, you know, I'm too scared. I won't even ride in the back of one of those things behind James, our producer. But you're a brave man.
All right, cool.
Congrats on the wedding. Can I give you a gift?
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to send you a 1-year membership to Ramsey Plus, and I want you and your fiance to go through all of the Financial Peace University videos, get on an every dollar budget. You can make a separate one for the wedding and have one for your life once you combine your incomes, once you're married. But you can go through the videos now and get on the same page and start to make a plan for how we're going to pay off these student loans.
Sounds lovely.
Awesome. I'll have Austin pick up, and he will get you that Ramsey Plus membership. Thanks for the call. Congrats on the impending marriage. All right, let's move on to John in L.A. John, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, how you doing, boss?
Great. I like that you call me boss. I appreciate that. Usually Dave's the boss. What's going on?
I'll make it quick and simple. I know you guys have a lot of people you guys help out, and thank you for everything you guys do. My question is, I'm 24. I still live at home with my family, and I live by the Dave Ramsey principles. I live it like it's religiously, and my family is not on the same plan as me. They live by old principles, and they don't do any research when it comes to buying a house or really any research. They just go off their own basic knowledge, which I don't believe in, and it's creating a lot of friction in the home between us. We're finding ourselves arguing and debating a lot when it comes to about finances. And I'm just trying to figure out, is it time to just move out and go on my own?
Are you working?
Yes.
What's your income?
About $70K.
Awesome. What do you do for work?
I'm a security manager. I manage at different companies.
Now, making $70K, can you rent somewhere near you? Near work?
I can. It's just going to take my rent from approximately less than $500 to well over, $1,600 to $2,000, unless even if I went and bought a house, it'd be about the same price.
Well, I'm moving out if I'm you, and I know it's a crazy area over there, very expensive, but here's the parameters I would give you as you're looking. Try to keep the payment under 25% of your take-home pay. And if that's difficult, it may mean getting a roommate for now, so that you can afford it. But living with your parents in what you would probably describe as kind of a toxic environment, I don't want that for you guys. You can maintain this relationship and go, listen, I love you and I disagree with you, and that's okay, but I don't want to have these disagreements every day at dinner. And so you're 24, you make a great income. I think it's time to fly the coop.
Okay. The another issue is I am on the lease, to the home that we're renting. So they are throwing it in my face that I'm going to leave them high and dry to take care of my portion of the rent, and it's kind of making me feel bad. But it's kind of hard to feel bad when they order DoorDash and food and go to restaurants, but then complain that I'm the reason why they won't be able to afford it.
This might be the kick in the pants they need. So I'm going to try to get out of this lease legally and respectfully and tell Mom and Dad, I love you, but you guys need to figure out your financial situation too. And you're dragging each other down at this point. So I think it's time to get out, man, and I know that's going to be easier said than done, but I believe in you. You got this. Appreciate the call. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it.
Hey, it's John Deloney, co-host of The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? A lot of those people listen on one of our 600-plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, go to RamseySolutions.com/show.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm George Camel, Ramsey personality and host of the Fine Print and Entree Leadership podcasts, all of which you can find on the Ramsey Network. Open phones this hour. The phone number to call is 888-825-5225. David is kicking us off in Tulsa, Oklahoma. David, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, George. Good afternoon. Thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can I help?
Well, we just came into just a little bit of money recently. I say a little bit of money, about $9,000. And we are looking at, would it be wise to invest the $9,000 straight into the principal of our house? We currently have a mortgage with $120,000. Outside of the mortgage, we are debt-free. And looking at if we should do that or invest into maybe a Roth IRA or maintain the funds within a savings account. Reason I'm being cautious about it is we've got one vehicle with roughly 120,000 miles on it, and the second one is about 250,000 miles. Both of them kind of have their issues, and as well as maintenance and stuff. But we're just kind of looking at how we can keep this down. We haven't been investing. We're at the, I guess, baby step 3, and we haven't been putting the max towards our retirement as we could, mainly because it kind of puts us in a crunch financially. So every month, I would think. So
it sounds like you're doing multiple baby steps at once. Because you said you're investing, but you don't have the emergency fund in place?
Right. We have the emergency fund in place. So our estimated emergency fund would be about $14,000 for 6 months. We do live pretty tight, but we also have a savings of about $40,000 right now.
What's that for?
Just sitting in the bank. It's just sitting in the bank, and that's why I haven't been, investing that in a Roth or anything like that. And I think that's probably the next step we need to take.
Hold on. So you said you're in baby step 3, but you're telling me you have a fully funded emergency fund?
I have a fully funded emergency fund, yes.
So you're in baby step 4.
We did the $1,000. Okay. So we did the $1,000. We paid off all of our debts, no school loans, anything like that.
No car loans, nothing?
No car loans.
Okay.
We just simply have our mortgage at $120,000.
Okay. And you're not quite investing 15% of your gross income into retirement?
Correct. We're about at 8% right now.
How come? Do you not have the money?
Mainly, so I make about $60,000 a year, and my wife had recently kind of stepped away for maternity leave, so that really kind of impacts our finances a little bit there. And I like having that comfort of having it in the bank, I guess, where I really should be just investing it to the max. But mainly the cars have me a little bit paranoid in what we should do there, because I know we've got 2 children, both very young, and it concerns me, maybe getting out on the road and then something breaking down.
Sure. So it sounds like
that's my
we got to
concern.
focus on one thing at a time. And right now we can't invest the 15% because it's tough. You also have these cars over here that are on their way out. And so we tell people to have sinking funds. Your car breaking down when it has 250,000 miles, that's not really an emergency because you can kind of see that one coming from a mile away.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would do if I'm you guys, you're saying you have $40,000 in savings on top of the $14,000 emergency fund, and you have $9,000 that just showed up.
No, sir. Let me correct that. So we have $40,000 total,
including the 9.
Within that, the 40. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm going to set aside some of that 40 to get these cars upgraded. So I'd be selling those, if maybe the 250 one for now, sell that one and get something reasonable.
Okay.
Which in this car market
would be a reasonable number. Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
I would get something as cheap as possible that gets the job done. This is A to B. This is not us trying to look flashy because, like you said, you don't have enough margin to even be doing baby step 4, let alone paying down the house. So we got an issue here with our budget, our expenses, our income that we've got to take care of. So I would probably look for a $10,000 car, not quite a beater, but not quite something that's going to turn heads at the stoplight.
Okay.
And beyond that, I want you to get to that 15%. If that means fully funding a Roth IRA for this year with some of that money, I'm okay with that. But we have to figure out a long-term solution for this. And I don't want you just sitting on a pile of money because it makes you feel good. I want it working for you, and that means continuing on with the baby steps, saving for college, paying off the house early. And you and your wife should have a talk about what that looks like beyond maternity leave. Is she going back to work? Is she going to stay home?
Yeah, no, she's actually started back up now. So before the maternity leave, she would be working on the weekends. Not full time. She'd be staying at home with the kids. We've not really looked at pricing out any kind of daycare or babysitting kind of thing.
What percentage is the mortgage taken up of your take home pay?
We're right at just under $1,000 as far as the mortgage.
And what's your take home pay?
$60,000.
Your take home pay 60?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's my gross.
Okay, so it's probably closer to $4,000 a month that ends up in your bank account?
Right.
Okay, so the mortgage isn't killing you guys. I'm just trying to find out where all the money's going, because generally when people pay off debt and they have an emergency fund, they can find the room to invest that 15% without it crushing them. And I know you have kids, there's some crazy expenses, inflation. It's a strange time right now, so I don't want to define your life by these numbers.
Certainly.
But we need to look at how we can trim expenses. I would go do a budget audit. Go through every insurance premium you have. I'd be shopping around through Xander to see if we can get a better deal elsewhere. I'm going to look at how much we're eating out. I'm going to tighten it up. Are you guys on a written plan and tracking it every month?
We were following it pretty good. Lately, it has kind of stepped away. We've kind of enjoyed our getting out just a little bit from being tied in with all the COVID and everything. So I would think we'd probably spend maybe $30 maybe every 2 weeks on eating out. So We'll just kind of stop in and get a little lunch somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I can hear the kids in the background. They seem real sweet. But I would try that's the only way to create that margin is we're going to trim expenses and we're going to bring in more income. And so figure out what that looks like. This money needs to be put to use. I would upgrade one of the cars for now, and if the emergency hits where the other one goes out, that's what the emergency fund is for. But I would create a sinking fund where you can put aside some extra car savings money through your cash flowed income and try to get to that 15% as soon as you can.
Yeah, one thing we were looking at is with the valuation of cars. So like, as far as her vehicle, it's the one with the 250. But the body, everything seems great on it. Outside of the, engine and transmission, not really had any issue yet, but we just know it's coming.
Yeah.
So my thought, recently my father had a newer engine placed in his Tundra. And when that happened, it's just like almost like having a brand new car again.
Yeah.
So I kind of looked at that a little bit, because then we're not going to be out investing in a brand, like new car.
Sure. Well, I would not go putting a new engine in that car. I would just go ahead and get something used. You guys have the money to do it. It's not worth messing with this thing anymore. Get rid of it. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at betheltech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's betheltech.net/Ken Coleman.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, Ramsey personality and host of the Fine Print Podcast. Well, folks, if you drive a normal car like normal people, you've had to get gas like normal people, and you've probably been very angry at the pump. Here in our neck of the woods, gas is running about $4.30 right now, which is about double what it was, it feels like 6 months ago. And to add insult to injury, the buy now, pay later companies are screwing everyone over, because here's the new news out this week. You can now buy now, pay later for gas. That's right. You can now have the pleasure of paying for gas that you bought 3 weeks ago. This is sad stuff. And Klarna and Zip, they have partnered with gas stations to provide this. Texaco and Chevron gas stations have the option to split up your payment into 4 payments over 6 weeks. So we like to joke that you can do buy now, pay later on a $10 item and make $2.50 payments for 4 months. And now you can do that with a gallon of gas or 10 gallons of gas. And we just released our Ramsey Research State of Personal Finance annual report. And buy now, pay later has exploded in popularity, especially with the younger generations. Nearly 1 in 4 people made a purchase using a buy now, pay later service in 2021, and millennials are leading the charge. 4 in 10 millennials made an online purchase with buy now, pay later, compared to just 18% of Gen X and just 4% of baby boomers. And if you know anything about buy now, pay later, it's just a modern marketing version of installment plans. So when you go add to cart right below that, it looks like you can get 75% off by splitting it up into 4 payments. And the companies are making a lot of money on this. The retailers are making so much money on this. And it's not just the interest and fees they can get you with. The bigger issue I have with it is the overspending. In fact, Klarna, on their website, they are bragging to retailers that customers spend 45% more on the average store order when they use a buy now, pay later service. So at least they're self-aware that they're screwing you. I guess that's a good sign. Don't do this. Don't pay for gas that you bought 3 weeks ago. When you are paying for the past, you can't build for the future. So I know times are tough. I know gas is insane. I know housing is insane. I know car prices are insane. So here, what can we do about this? Well, we can control the controllables, and we can still pay cash for things. And it might mean more patience. It might mean more sacrifice. It might mean we're cutting a subscription. We're not eating out as much. We're meal prepping. We're eating at a new restaurant called Mi Casa. That's right. We're going to eat at our house. If you don't know Basic Spanish 101 there. So this is sad to see, and I want you guys to stay away from the buy now, pay later schemes. I want you to delay your purchases, be a wise spender, stick to your budget. And if you want to learn more about buy now, pay later, we did an entire episode on this on season 1 of The Fine Print. You can find that wherever you listen to podcasts. And it's called Afterpay, Affirm, Klarna, Should You Buy Now or Pay Later? You can go check that out wherever you listen to podcasts. All right, let's go to the phones this hour. You can call us at 888-825-5225. Anna joins us in NYC. Anna, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm in a bit of a sticky situation. So I have $180,000 worth of student loans, and that's undergrad and grad loans together. And so they're comprised of a few different ones with different percent interest. And as of May 1st, I'm supposed to start paying them back. And I recently started working, making about $100,000 per year.
That's comforting.
And so I'm not renting yet, but I'm also moving out of my family's house, which I've been living at since COVID. So that's going to be an expense added on as well. And I'm just very lost in how to handle these loans. I'm not sure if I should refinance or consolidate or do income-based repayment. So I was hoping to get your advice on that.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, there's only one way to get rid of debt, and that's to get rid of debt. And so I don't like consolidation and refinance as a shortcut because it's not a shortcut. You're just moving the debt around and feeling like you did something. And so the best thing you can do is use the debt snowball method to attack these debts. Are you familiar with that?
A little bit.
So
I think you tackle this. I forgot if it was the smallest or the largest loans first.
Smallest. So here's what you're going to do.
Okay.
You're going to ignore the interest rate. And I know that hurts because you're a smart woman and you look at the interest rate and it makes you want to throw up, right?
Yeah, it's about 6% right now, which is terrifying. And I was hoping to get that down to 4%, which a lot of these refinancing companies offer, but I don't know if that's the way to go.
Well, I mean, it's worth a shot if you want to look at that. Our friends at Splash Financial, they're good people, and you can check with them to see what you could do. I don't mind it when you can lower the interest rate. I just don't want you to extend the length of the loan. So sometimes what they'll do is they'll go, yeah, we'll give you 4%, but now you're in debt even longer and your payment's higher. And so there's all kinds of things they can do to kind of trick you into thinking that you got a deal.
Okay,
so I would check with Splash, but really at the end of the day, I still want you to do the debt snowball. I don't want you to consolidate this because what happens is it becomes one giant mountain and it's unbearable versus feeling the progress, freeing up each payment as you pay it off. So what I would do is you can use the debt snowball calculator on our website, and you can actually put in all of your debts from smallest to largest, regardless of the interest rate. Just ignore that. And we're going to start paying off the smallest one with a vengeance. So make minimum payments on all of the other student loans. You can afford to do that, right? Come May 1st?
Yeah. I don't know what the payment would be because there's a lot of individual loans. There's actually about like 23 to be exact. Yeah.
Well, the good news is they're probably all fairly small, especially at the front end.
Yeah. There's a few really huge ones, and then there's a bunch that are about 1,000 or 1,500.
Yeah. Now, when you move out, are you going to get a roommate?
Yeah, so I already signed a lease actually for May 1st as well, and my expense there will be about $1,500, which I'm sure sounds crazy, but it's New York, so it's kind of standard.
Yeah.
So I don't know even how much I could be paying off while also, living in New York City as well. And I'm not like a big spender by any means. I'm ready to just like eat rice and beans for a while.
Yeah, you're going to continue living like a broke college student because you're broke right now thanks to these student loans. Now, what kind of work are you doing?
Mm-hmm. I'm a software engineer.
Oh, awesome. Well, hopefully your income will continue to go up.
Yeah, it's my first software engineering job, so I'm hoping it'll obviously only go up from here.
Is it remote or is it in the office?
It's hybrid, so it's 2 days remote, 3 days in the office.
Okay. Well, I know in the software engineer world and that tech world, you can leapfrog when it comes to income, and you move to this company and that company, and all of a sudden you could be making $200,000-$300,000 in that world.
Right. That's definitely the goal.
So use that to your advantage as you start this kind of new chapter with a roommate, live like you're broke. And if you can do that, I mean, the $1,500 a month is going to eat up a good chunk of your income. But beyond that, if you can throw, 60, 70K of debt at the debt, you can be done with this thing. I want you to be done in 2 years. Anything beyond that, I'm going, this is just
2 years.
This is too long if it's going to take 5.
$180,000 in 2 years.
Well, that's $90,000 a year.
Possible?
That's $90,000 a year.
Wow.
Obviously, it's not possible with your current income and current living situation. But let's say you worked fully remote and you could move somewhere less expensive, or move, across the bay, or whatever that looks like for you. And you hustled and you did some side hustling with your software engineer skills. You brought in an extra $20K. These are the kind of sacrifices that you're going to have to make if you want to climb out of this hole, and you don't want it to be a slog of 7 years, and you're still trying to pay off these student loans, and you're still trying to mess around with consolidation to fix the problem. We got to rip the Band-Aid off and look at the hard numbers, but I'm telling you, the debt snowball is your best path to do it. You're going to feel the progress, you're going to free up payments along the way, and you're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Hang on, I'm going to have Kelly give you Ramsey Plus 1-year membership to help walk with you along this journey, and you call us back if we can do anything else to help you. Thanks for the call, Anna.
Chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use NetSuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because NetSuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Ramsey personality George Camel. Open phones this hour. 888-825-5225 is the number to call. Haley joins us now in Destin, Florida. Haley, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? How can I help?
Okay, so my question is, my husband and I have about $60,000 in debt. And because of COVID, I'm sure you hear that all the time, we had to voluntarily repossess our camper. And then you know how that goes. We owe $23,000 now and don't even have the camper.
Ouch.
And also, I have a car that we are $10,000 with upside down negative equity. We have random credit cards. We are on step 2, trying to do the debt snowball. And we're renting right now in Destin, Florida for $2,300 a month. So
what's your income?
I personally make about $65,000, and my husband, we're not really sure, maybe $20,000-$30,000. He owns his own landscaping company.
It doesn't sound like it's doing too hot if he's making $20,000.
No, he works by himself. I think it's more than that, honestly. This is only his second year. We haven't done our taxes yet to really show how much he's making.
Hold on. You don't know how much you're making? He shouldn't be running a business if he doesn't know how much money he makes.
Well, QuickBooks says he's making a lot, but we're learning.
Well, it's a tough time to learn when you got all this debt sitting around, but that's a story for another day. So let's say you're making, $95K a year?
Yeah.
And you got $60K in debt, and we're underwater on a few things here. So how can I help today?
Exactly. What is your suggestion? Like I said, we haven't actually paid on the camper in over a year. because my credit is shot, so I was just like, whatever. But we eventually want to have kids. We eventually want to buy a house, so we don't have to be paying the $2,300 a month. So I guess, like, what do we just continue to do the debt snowball? Like, do you have any advice on repossessions, I guess?
How much money do you guys have to your name right now that's liquid?
Maybe $1,500 right now we have, but we pretty much live paycheck to paycheck.
Well, you've got your baby step one if you set aside $1,000, and then we're going to go to town, and this dude better be mowing so many lawns that you forget what he looks like.
Yeah.
He's got to get this income up.
I mean, he was hospitalized with rhabdo because he works too hard.
Oh, my goodness. Well, he needs to charge more or something. Something about this business isn't working out. But aside from that, we want you to do the debt snowball in baby step 2. So I would list all of these out, smallest to largest. If you're $10,000 underwater on this car, how much is left on the loan?
$23,000.
And you're saying the car is only worth $13,000?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
$13,000 to $17,000. Yeah, we what happened was I had a car, and then I had a warranty call me and said that my car warranty was up, and I fell for it and had to pay $200 extra a month.
It was a scam?
I know, and then it was a scam.
You were the one person who fell for that call where they say, hey, I'm calling about your car's extended warranty.
I was it.
Oh.
I know, and I cried, actually, when I went to the car dealer, and he was like, the only way to get rid of this warranty, because they couldn't find it, is to trade in the car. So then I got sold by a car dealer.
Oh, my goodness.
And then ended up upside
Haley,
down
turn your phone off. Turn all phones and screens off. Don't listen to anyone. Don't talk to anyone. Just work your butt off.
No, I don't.
Pay off this debt.
I really don't.
Well, I mean, 10 to 17, 13 to 17 is a big range. I'm going to go and do some really good research. I'm going to check with Carvana and Vroom and dealerships and Facebook Marketplace and see what this car is actually worth. Go to kellybluebook.com. All those sites. Do some really good research to see what you could get for this car. Because if you can get 17, 18,000 and you owe 23, the only time I would tell you to go get a loan is when you're underwater on this car and you go to your local credit union and you get a small $5,000 personal loan to get out from underneath this car. Now, that's not a shortcut. It's not a life hack, but what it does is speed up this process and create a $5,000 loan instead of a $23,000 loan today.
Yeah.
Do you need that vehicle? Do you have other vehicles?
My husband has a paid off truck, but yes, I would need a car, and it is a hybrid, so it's saving me money, a lot of money on gas, and I live less than 2 miles from work, so I don't really need a fancy car. I can get a scooter.
I mean, you guys could keep the car and pay it all off. If you're making 100 and you got 60 in debt, we can be done with this thing in under 2 years. So it's reasonable.
Yeah.
But I feel like you're so overwhelmed right now. I mean, who cares if you're saving money on gas when you can't breathe because you're living paycheck to paycheck?
Yeah.
So I'm going to follow the debt snowball, and I'm going to research this car and figure out if it's worth selling and getting out from this underwater vehicle so that we can speed up this process. But you're going to list your debts from smallest to largest. We're ignoring the interest rate. We're ignoring phone calls from scammers. We're ignoring everyone and everything that's in our way. All distractions are gone. We're not eating out because we're broke.
No, we don't need that.
Okay. I want you guys to have a house. I want you guys to have kids, and you can have all those things. Yeah. But right now, we have to pay a price to win. And it's not going to be fun. The next year and a half of your life is going to be brutal. But, man, it's going to set you free if you do this stuff.
Yeah, we're Christians, so we believe in that. The Lord told me it's going to be a clear year, so, that's when I was like, okay, we need to, put our boots on the ground and figure this out.
Boom. Well, Haley, I appreciate the call. We're cheering you guys on.
Okay, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Good stuff. All right, let's move on to Tanner. He's in Johnson City, Tennessee. Tanner, welcome to the show.
Hey, George. Thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can I help today?
Hey, I was just calling to see what your best suggestion is. My wife and I are on baby step 6, and we're trying to figure out what's the best amount to contribute to our HSA.
Do you guys have a match through work for that?
No, not a match through work.
Okay.
But we do have a high deductible. It's $5,000.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can save up to the deductible. That's what I would do right now. But obviously, there's going to be a max on that. If you're both involved, are you both on the HSA?
Yeah, so its max would be 7.
Okay. I would not max it out right now until you have that paid-for house. That's when I go, okay, now we can have some fun. But I would try to get it to that deductible limit so that in case you had to hit that deductible, you've got the money in your HSA to cover it. How much is in there now?
Great. Not much, couple $100.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's no urgency to fully fund this thing ASAP, but do you guys have the margin to do that, to contribute each month maybe?
Yeah, definitely.
On top of paying off the house early?
We can. We can manage.
What's left on the mortgage?
$175.
Okay. What's your income?
So just shy of 100.
Okay.
For the two of us.
Well, that's great, man. You guys are doing great, and I love that you're using that HSA. As you know, the sweet triple tax benefits of that, not being taxed when you put money in, growing tax-free, and not being taxed when you take it out for medical expenses. Are you guys both pretty healthy?
Yeah, we're both in our late 20s, but just trying to prepare ahead of time.
Yeah, that's wise. Well, I would work to get that HSA number to your deductible, but I don't think there's any massive urgency. Do you have your emergency fund in place?
Yeah.
So worst case, we can dip into that if it goes beyond what's in our HSA. But long term, I love having that deductible amount in there, and that's going to give you a whole nother layer of financial peace. And once you pay off that house a few years from now, let's max that thing out every year. And you can start investing in good growth stock mutual funds in there, and it becomes a really cool retirement vehicle.
And that was my next question about investing. So you guys typically do also?
Yeah, absolutely. I would look at some good growth stock mutual options that you have inside of that account. And once you have a certain buffer in there, you can begin to invest that money. It may look different depending on your HSA, but absolutely, it's a great way to invest that is tax advantaged. Thanks so much for the call, Tanner. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, Ramsey personality and host of The Fine Print. If you've been listening to the show for a little while, you probably know about Dr. John Deloney's new book. We're all super pumped about it. It's called Own Your Past, Change Your Future. And what makes it extra cool is that we're partnering with our friends at BetterHelp to give you a month of free one-on-one weekly therapy when you pre-order a copy. Who does that? That's incredible. You're never too old or too young to improve your health and make your relationship stronger, and this free month of one-on-one weekly therapy is going to help you get the tools that you need to change your future. And what's cool is you'll get matched up with a therapist based on your specific needs. This is a life-changing combo. Dr. John Deloney's Own Your Past, Change Your Future. It's going to make you laugh. It's going to make you cry. It's going to challenge you. And when you take the steps that he outlines in this book and you take advantage of that free therapy, your life will be transformed. Just like it is when you follow the baby steps with your money, you can do that for your mental health, for your relationships, and for your wellness. Get those free therapy sessions by pre-ordering Own Your Past, Change Your Future today for just $20 at RamseySolutions.com. Let's go to the phones this hour. They are open. You can give us a call at 888-825-5225. Christine joins us in Rockford, Illinois. Christine, welcome to the show.
Hi, George. Can you hear me?
Yes, you sound great. How can I help?
Good. My boyfriend and I have been talking about marriage and both see our relationship ending in marriage soon. We've started looking at how much weddings cost and are a little overwhelmed by this. We're looking for some advice on how much is appropriate to spend on a wedding and how much to budget for it. Our finances are both separate and will remain separate until we're married. I'm in baby step 4 and he's in baby step 6.
Awesome. Well, that helps when you're both debt-free. Are you guys paying for this whole wedding, or have you talked to your respective families about it?
We'll be paying for it.
Okay. Well, I want you to spend as little as possible for a great day. Now, that looks different for everyone. I know you've been dreaming about this day since you were a little girl, probably.
That's fair.
So the biggest parameter is don't spend more than you have in cash, regardless of who's paying for it. There is no official parameter, but I'll tell you some stats here. According to a study from Wedding Wire, couples on average spend roughly $28,000 on the ceremony and reception, which equals about $215 a guest. And with the average household income being about $55,000, $60,000, that means most people spend, on average, half of their annual income on a wedding, which personally I think is just too much. Now, what do you guys have in mind for the wedding?
We're looking at spending about $40,000.
Oh, do you have a lot of friends?
And big family, yes.
Oh, boy. Well, I mean, remember what you're doing here. You're just throwing a party for other people at this point. So the question is, when you do the math on 40,000 divided by how many people are attending, look at that and go, all right, is that guy Jeff from college, is he worth $200 to me? For him to, have an open bar and have a great meal? That's the question you got to ask yourself. So I don't want you to let emotion drive these decisions. I want you to remember that this day is about you two. So cull the invite list before it gets out of hand. Have you already made a budget for this?
No, we're looking at that now.
But you're in your mind, you're going 40 grand feels right.
We've kind of broken it down based on averages in our area.
Well, here's the truth. The whole wedding industry is one giant scam. And so they can charge because people are willing to pay for it. So I want you to really take a good look at this and not get too emotional and excited about what could be, because those $3,000 you spent on flowers, they die the next day. And the memories will live on. But I would look at the budget and go, okay, do we really need video? Can we just do photo? Do we need the $4,000 wedding photographer, or is the $2,000 photographer going to do a great job? Have you talked to your boyfriend about this?
Yes.
And when do you think he's going to propose?
In the next couple weeks.
When do you plan on getting married? Have you guys talked about a potential date?
Probably not until fall of 23 at the earliest.
Okay, so you've got some time to save up for this. What is your income?
I make about $90,000 a year.
Okay. What does he make?
And then he makes about $115,000 a year.
Okay. And you guys would both be splitting this evenly to pay for the wedding?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're in for $20K, he's in for $20K at this point if we move forward with this plan.
Correct.
And so we need to look at, okay, we're going to create a sinking fund, $20,000 divided by how many months until we're going to have to pay for these expenses. All right, that's going to be, $1,000 a month. Does that sound reasonable to you guys as you talk that part through?
It does.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is your call. There's no stipulation. If you want to spend the money and you have it, I'm good with that as long as you don't go into debt. But I'm also good with trimming down this budget. And make sure you have a separate checking account just for wedding expenses. Get a separate checking debit card for those wedding expenses so that things don't get too muddy.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, George.
Absolutely. Thanks for the call. Congrats on the wedding. Very exciting. Joe is in Chicago. Joe, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Mr. Campbell, thank you so much. It is an honor to talk to you.
Oh, you as well. You've got a great voice for radio.
In the house. Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
How can I help?
Let me give you a little background. I am in baby step 4, 5, and 6. 3 years ago, my wife and I were $80,000 in debt. And I am proud to say that between retirement and non-retirement, we are $100,000 plus.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing. Way to go.
Yes, absolutely. So my question is, when I am continuing this adventure or journey, whatever you want to call it, to become wealthy, how do I continue to stay humble and grounded?
That's a great question. Would you consider yourself a person that has humility right now?
Absolutely.
What would make that change? Let's say I handed you $100,000 today and a really nice car. Would it make you any less humble?
I don't think it would make me any less humble, no. I really don't.
So what's the worry there? What's behind this?
My worry is that money can change people. But there is one thing in my life that I know keeps me very grounded. And when she came to me the other night and she asked me, how are we doing? We do the budget together. We do everything together. But she lets me take the reins because I'm the nerd and she's the dreamer. So when I came to her and I gave her that number of 100,000 sitting between those two accounts, that smile is what's going to keep me humble. I can tell you that right now.
Well, that's the thing. There's no amount of money that's going to make you a jerk or not. We say that money makes you more of who you already are. It's a magnifying glass. And so you don't sound like a big, egotistical, narcissistic jerk who's flashing around his money. And if you had another 100,000, I don't know that you turn into that guy either. Now, I do love that you want to make sure you don't end up there because, yeah, you're right. People can change. People can turn into jerks. But if you're watching out for that, you're not doing things to impress people, I would really check your motive with every single purchase that you make, with every move you're making. You know, are you driving a flashy car to impress people, or do you just love cars? Are you getting the mansion to impress people, or do you just want the house?
Dodge Ram, that 2005 Dodge Ram is not flashy by no means.
So you're not a flashy guy to begin with?
No, absolutely not.
Are you a person of faith?
Yes, I am.
I think that's one of the best ways to keep me grounded. Anytime you think you're something, you know, Dave always says better than I deserve. Because if you believe in the Bible, you're a man of faith, a Christian, it's hard to really think you're something. You know, even me sitting here hosting the show, there's an entire team of people that it takes to run this show. There are 1,000 things that have to happen for me to do what I do, and so I don't take it for granted at all that I'm just so amazing and I get to be in this seat. And so as long as you keep that mindset of, man, I'm so grateful for what I have. I'm so content. I'm not making purchases out of need to impress people. I just love my life. I've got financial peace, and that's okay. And people will think what they want to think, and that's okay. But if you treat people with dignity, you live by the golden rule, man, you're going to do just fine. You're going to keep that humility that we all love so much. I appreciate the call, Joe. Appreciate you being debt-free, giving us a call. This show is about you, America, and we're thankful you are listening. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books.
Hey folks, Ken Coleman here. Did you know The Ramsey Show is one of the most popular podcasts in the world? Get your daily dose of advice on life and money. Check out all of our shows from the Ramsey Network wherever you listen to podcasts.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm Ramsey personality George Camel, and I am your host today, flying solo. They all ditched me. So this is what you got, America, and I'm excited to take your call. Whether you need some confirmation, affirmation, motivation, education, if it ends in Nation, I'm here for you. 888-825-5225 is the number to call. Megan kicks us off in Chicago, Illinois. Megan, welcome to the show.
Hey, George, can you hear me okay?
Are you in a wind tunnel? What's happening over there?
I am. I'm outside. If you can't hear me, that's
Oh, no,
okay.
you sound great. You sound great. How can I help?
Okay. 3 years ago, I bought an existing business, took out an SBA loan for it. Everything was going great until COVID, smashed it. We were down 90%. For most of COVID, we're starting to pick back up. But we found lately it's really hard to hire people to do what we need them to do. They're independent contractors, so it's more of a side gig. And our busiest time of the day is Monday through Friday from about 10 to 3. So my husband and I are ending up doing a lot of this work. However, we haven't been able to pay ourselves through this business for about 2 years. Okay, so then when COVID took that business out, we bought another one in cash, that business now cash flows about $6,000 to $8,000 a month.
Great.
And I'm wondering if we should consider selling that business, putting that money into the SBA loan, and just putting all of our efforts into the first business to try to get it back up and running like it was before.
I mean, I like this plan so far. So you're saying, should we sell the business that's bringing in $0 that we took out a loan on?
No, should we sell the business that's bringing in about $7,000 a month? Put that money that we make off that business into the business that's making $0.
Oof. I wouldn't want to sell the business that's actually profitable to put it into the one that's making nothing.
You would do that?
No, I mean, how is that a good plan if it's making $0 for you guys right now? Net profit.
Well, we have on the profitable business, zero debt. The first business, it's making money, but it's all going to our debt service, the SBA loan.
So if you didn't have that loan in your life, what would a cash flow for you guys net?
Right now, about $5,000 a month.
So that's how much you're putting on the debt.
Yeah. Before COVID, it was making about 10. So we're still at about 50% of what we were at before COVID.
The first one sounds like it's a grind. I mean, do you even want to continue that business?
So when it's up and running, it's minimal effort from myself. It's a great business. It's just right now we've been having a really hard time finding people to work in it.
Will that change in the future?
I'm ending up. What's that?
Will that change in the future? Or will it always be hard to find people?
I hope so, yeah. It requires a lot of driving from our people. And so I think gas prices right now are throwing people off. But, maybe even in the summer we'll get some college students that can get excited about doing what we do.
And they're paying for their own gas?
Yes.
Yeah, that could be a tough sell right now.
Yeah. So, we've really started to pick up with this business in the past 3 weeks, which is great, but it's made us do 4 to 5 hours a day of work on top of, working at other business and other job. And so we just feel a little bit stuck because that loan is there and we have to pay it no matter what.
How much is left on the loan?
$270,000.
Whoa.
About 7 years left.
I mean, how much could you sell the business for?
Well, probably 2.5 of what we make, so about $150,000.
Which would just cut the debt down, but it wouldn't actually free up any payment or cash flow, right?
No, we'd still be liable for the rest of it.
And that's what worries me, is it just feels like we're not going to create any more cash flow and we're going to lose the $6,000 to $8,000 a month that we currently have. So my worry is it actually puts you guys in a worse position.
Yes. So my thought, although I love being at the business that's cash flowing, it is very hands-on for me also right now. So if we sold it, we can make $160,000 off of it, put that into the other business, reduce that loan, and just put 100% of my time into bringing that business back up to where it was before COVID. Then we could start making a little bit of money. And even if it's a little bit for a while, it's better than nothing.
Well, the problem is there's a lot of ifs in this situation. There's a lot of if this happens and if this happens, then this could happen. And that's the part that I don't like. I want you guys to be in control of that piece of the future. And so right now it spooks me a little bit to just sell off the only business that's bringing in money for your life.
Yeah.
Because we just don't know, even if you pay down the loan, that you're going to find workers and that you're going to get this business back up to $10K a month. So I would try to get that business back up and running before you sell it. And so if you can get this plate spinning over here where you have workers, it's generating $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month, then I think we can go, okay, we know that this is working. If we went all in on this, we can get this even higher and we can sell this business and pay down the debt.
Okay.
So I wouldn't go ahead and do that today, but I don't think it's a bad plan once you get this other business back up and running.
Okay, I agree.
I'm glad we're in agreement. I hope your husband agrees. Have you talked this over with him? What's he want to do?
He is under the impression right now they just have to grind. It's just a rough season right now, and we just have to kind of grit our teeth and get through it.
Well,
but he knows how good of a business this other, the one with the loan can be. how easy it is to run once it's all running smoothly.
Well, as we say, business is easy until people get involved. And you can't even get people involved right now. That's the sad part.
Yeah,
so I would try to bring the boat a little closer to the dock before we go ahead and jump ship here. And what I'm going to do is have Kelly send you a copy of Dave's best-selling book on business and leadership called Entree Leadership. And this is his playbook of how he built this business from a card table in his living room to now multi-hundreds of millions of dollars, over 1,000 people on the team, and he did it all debt-free. And like you mentioned, this would be a whole different situation if you didn't take out $250,000 in debt on this business.
Yeah, there'd be no worries on it.
And so that is why we tell people to start and run their businesses debt-free, completely, from now until eternity. So I'm rooting for you, Megan, but you've got a hole to clean up here with $270,000 in business debt, and I would not sell my only profitable business right now to try to get the other one off the ground. That's just too much risk for me. Folks, I host the Entree Leadership Podcast, and if you want some business and leadership inspiration, go check that out. You can check it out wherever you listen to podcasts. We have some amazing thought leaders, guests on there, a lot of our Ramsey leaders, and we're really unpacking what the right way to lead looks like, what the right way to run a business looks like, how to lead a team in a time such as this. So go check that out wherever you listen to podcasts. I salute all of the small business owners out there. You guys are the backbone of the economy, the backbone of America, and we are big, big fans of small business. We'll be back with you before you know it. This is The Ramsey Show.
Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, Ramsey personality and host of The Fine Print. If you want to keep up with me, you can find me on Instagram at George Camel. Always love hearing from you guys, answering your questions over there as well. Neil joins us in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Neil, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, George. How's it going?
Great. How can I help?
Yeah, so right now I'm 22 years old, making around 90 take home, and been listening to you guys for, I think, 3 or 4 years now, since I was like 18.
Awesome.
So a big fan, and kind of have a small problem going on in my life. So I do live with my parents right now, and I don't pay rent technically, but I do end up paying, $1 to $2K, putting money into the house, like groceries and miscellaneous expenses. And just wanted to ask you, I don't, like staying at home, and I want to finance, a big wedding coming up, hopefully when I'm like 25, 26. Do you think I should kind of move out or kind of save money and continue staying at home?
I think you should move out based on the information you just gave me. And let me just be clear. You said finance a wedding. That worried me. Do you mean pay cash?
No. I just want to kind of save up for a wedding, like a bigger wedding.
So you're not going into debt for this wedding?
No.
Okay, you worried me. Never use the word finance. It scares me. You spooked me there. Because you've been following us for a few years now. So have you followed the baby steps? Do you have any debt?
No. So luckily my parents did pay for my college tuition. So no debt. Just that's why I'm trying to make the correct move so I can save up for this wedding.
Do you have an emergency fund?
Yes, I do.
How much is in there? How many months of expenses?
It's 6 months.
Which you don't have many
30,000.
expenses.
Right.
So how much do you have in there?
30,000.
Wow.
I've kind of put in like a big chunk of my first year's salary into that.
Very cool. And you're investing 15% of your income into retirement?
Yep, and maxed out my 401k that my employer sponsors. So I think I get like a 7% match.
Wow. So are you investing more than 15%?
I haven't looked into that, like, too specific. I'm just trying to put in as much into, investing. I don't know the exact percentages.
Okay. Well, I would keep it at 15% right now, only because you're 22 and you've got a lot of other financial goals to hit, including paying for this wedding. Are you dating someone right now, or is this just future thinking?
Dating someone for like 6 years now.
Oh, wow. So this is like a high school relationship that has gone well?
High school relationship.
But
Yep.
not too well
And,
to where you're like, I'm
throughout
not quite
college,
ready.
Right, but I just want to be financially set as well.
Dude, you are.
That's why I want to wait. Well, I just want to make sure,
You have a 90,000
100%
take-home pay. You have no debt and an emergency fund. I mean, half the women listening right now are like, man, I wish I could find a Neil out there.
Yeah, but this wedding that I'm kind of thinking of, kind of in like the 500K kind of range. So
I'm sorry, hold the phones. You said $500,000 for a wedding?
George, have you ever been to an Indian wedding?
I've seen it on TV. I've seen Love is Blind,
these are
if
massive.
that counts.
Yeah,
oh, my
so,
goodness, man.
They're very expensive.
Is that just normal?
Yeah.
Hold on,
kind
who's
of.
paying for this?
Sometimes, yeah, so I don't want to get my parents involved. That's why I'm trying to kind of do my due diligence to make these steps proper and so I can pay for this.
Can you break the mold and do like a $50,000 wedding, which is still like really expensive for most people?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I can.
You'll be shunned by all the people that attend.
Yeah, true.
I get it. Man, I mean, that feels just exorbitant for you to be paying on your own. I feel like if it's like, hey, mom and dad, if this is your reputation on the line, then you can fund it.
Right.
But I've got goals, and the wedding is one day, and I want to set myself up for the rest of my life with my wife, not throw a party that makes the parents look good.
True.
I mean, right? Isn't that that's a piece of the cultural aspect?
Yeah, that is true. But usually these like weddings like last like maybe like a week long, so it's not just one day. But yeah, your logic definitely does make sense.
Man, that just took my breath away. I think it took America's breath away too. I mean, you could buy a house for that much money in cash.
Yeah, the reputation really matters.
Well, I can't stop you from doing that, but I would say let's make a plan to where you're not having to pay for that, because that's overwhelming for a 22-year-old. Even though you're crushing it, to go, hey, it's on you to pay for a $500,000 wedding.
Yeah, they did pay for my college. That's why I'm not kind of resorting to asking my parents. But yeah, that does make sense.
Now, have you talked to your girlfriend about her parents and what they would pitch in?
No, so I'm kind of like an early bird on this. Since this is a plan 3-4 years out, I kind of don't want to freak her out by mentioning, marriage and stuff. So no, I haven't.
Hold on, you've been dating for 6 years and you think you're going to freak her out by mentioning marriage?
But we're still 22 at the end of the day, we just got at the college lifestyle, working corporate jobs now. So it's not, fully into the picture yet.
Now, does she come from the same cultural background as you?
Yes.
Okay. So you're both on board to just throw $500,000 at this wedding?
Pretty much, yeah.
Now, culturally, is it usually a split amount that families pay? How does this normally go down?
Yeah, so normally it is split among the bride's parents and the groom's parents. So the bride and groom don't usually pay for the expenses for the wedding.
And that's where my head is at. I mean, if the parents want to do that, that's great. But if you say, hey, they're not going to foot the bill and it's on me, then sorry, we're not doing a $500,000 wedding.
Yeah, that does make sense, yeah.
Because here's the problem. If you're going to do a $500,000 wedding and pay for it, you're going to have to live with your parents until the day you get married. And that's not a good plan. So I think you need to move out. You need to start your life on your own. You need to have some more serious conversations with your girlfriend as you head towards marriage. And we've got to figure out a game plan for what this future looks like. And I mean, it just hurts my heart that there's $500,000 weddings out there. I mean, they look amazing. Don't get me wrong. I would love to be invited to one day. So throw me an invite, Neil, if you're going to throw the party.
Yep, of course.
And you're footing the bill.
Exactly.
But, man, you're crushing it. I mean, 22 years old with a $90,000 take-home pay, no debt, emergency fund, you're investing. You're doing great. And you can afford to move out and get your own place if you want to. And I wouldn't be sticking around with mom and dad too much longer.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
All right. Well, my work here is done. Keep me posted on this wedding. Send me photos and videos on Instagram. All right, Neil?
Of course. Thank you, George.
Appreciate it. Oh, I just had to deflate after that call. I literally can't breathe, trying to fathom spending $500,000. So, fun fact, me and my wife, we won a free wedding. That was a $28,000 wedding package. And, I mean, I thought we won the lottery. But it turns out that was like a poor person's wedding compared to these wild Indian weddings that are a week long. That's incredible. And on top of that, it still cost us money to throw another reception because the wedding had limits on how many people could attend and all that. So you were down to like 4 guests can attend. And so we threw another reception that we helped pay for with our families. And it was great and it was worth it. But man, let me tell you, I don't remember much from the wedding except the photos. I can't tell you, I can count on one finger how many times I've went back and watched the wedding footage and reminisced. Because the truth is, the focus is now on our marriage together, just us two. Couldn't tell you who was there and all the faces and invitations we sent out. Kelly was there. She's pointing at me now, reminding me that she was there. Appreciate you, Kelly. Thanks for the gift, whatever it was. But man, weddings. The whole thing is a scam, and I get that we love to celebrate and it's a big day for people, but remember, it's about you two, it's about your marriage, it's about your future. It's not about impressing people, it's not about keeping up a reputation. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com.
You are listening to The Ramsey Show. You probably knew that, but I'm going to remind you anyways. I'm George Camel, your host today, Ramsey personality and host of the Fine Print and Entree Leadership podcasts. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every single month, you'll save even more, and you guys know I love to save. You can use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal. Today's question comes from Darren in Nevada. He says, how do I get out of a hole that just keeps getting deeper? I worked 2 jobs and made $72,000 last year. Between child support, a school loan, and rent that just keeps going up, I'm barely keeping my head above water. I've been following you for over 3 years. I even became a financial coach to have as a side gig, but that didn't work out. I'm frustrated and tired. It's hard doing this alone, and I've created a social bubble around myself, which is also wearing me down. What can I do to move forward? Darren, I feel so much weight in your question. You're in a really, really tough spot right now. And I don't want to belittle that or make light of it. This stuff is hard. But here's the thing about things that are hard. Being in debt is hard. Being financially disciplined and getting out of debt is hard. And so we've got to choose which hard we want. And a lot of people, unfortunately, choose the type of hard that leaves them in debt for 10, 20, 30 years, and they're broke in retirement, and they lived a house of cards, and it comes tumbling down eventually. And so the hard that you're describing is the hard that's worth it, where you see the light at the end of the tunnel. And right now it's hard to see that. You can't see the forest from the trees. But that child support one day will be gone. The school loan, soon enough, if you follow the baby steps and use the debt snowball, will be gone. That rent that just keeps going up is going to be gone, because eventually you're going to get into a house with a fixed payment, which you're going to pay off. And so your mortgage payment will be gone. So what you need to do right now is try to have a vision beyond Friday. Have a vision for the next 2, 3, 5, 10 years of your life where you remind yourself why you're sacrificing right now. And you mentioned that you've created a social bubble around yourself. I assume you're talking about the fact that you're working so hard, you don't have any relationships, you feel disconnected. And on that front, I would encourage you to get plugged in to a Financial Peace University class. If you get in a group of people who are on the same journey you are, it changes everything. Because you have people who get it, who are speaking the same language, who can encourage you when you feel like giving up, who can cheer you on with every little piece of progress you make. It changes everything. So try to join a class in person. If you can go to RamseySolutions.com and get plugged in to a class there. And you also said, how do I get out of a hole that just keeps getting deeper? So my hope is that you're not continuing to go into debt because of your situation. That's kind of a baby step 0, where we decide we're done borrowing. No matter what, we're going to get creative, we're going to work extra, we're going to cut the expenses down so that we can stop going into debt and start paying it off. So we're cheering you on, man. I wish I could talk to you and hear more about your story. But until you call in, I hope that encourages you in the meantime. Let's go to the phones this hour. It's a free call, 888-825-5225. Hugo joins us in Dallas, Texas. Hugo, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, George.
Hey, what's going on?
Thanks for taking my call. So I had a question in regards to the car market right now. I've been looking for a car for about 7 months now, and I haven't had much luck for it. I am a firm believer in not taking any loans for a car payment at the dealership. I have cash saved up for a car. I just don't know if I should wait until the car market goes down a little bit, or if it's the right time to buy a car.
How much do you have saved for the car?
I have about $8,000 or $9,000.
Okay. And are you out of debt with a fully funded emergency fund?
Yes, I have no debt, and I have $1,000 for emergency fund.
Okay, so we're in baby step 3 right now.
Correct.
You got to save up to 3 to 6 months of expenses. What's going on with your car that's causing this urgency to get a new one?
So the car I had before, the transmission went out. It's an 04 Acura. So if I fix the transmission, it's probably another $2,000. So $2,000 is pretty much what the car is kind of worth. It does have a high mileage right now. So I don't want to really fix the car right now in regards to the transmission. So I'm really just looking for a new car right now.
Okay. So could you sell this thing right now? How much would you get for it? About $2,000 with the transmission being busted?
I would say if anything, maybe like $1,000 I can try.
In this market, you could probably sell it for parts more than that. Things are crazy out there right now. I would do some research. I mean, you're not in a terrible place because you don't have debt, and so there's not a lot of desperation here. But you can't drive right now, right?
No, I can't. I borrow my dad's car for school and work right now, so it's kind of I am kind of in a tight spot, but I don't want to lose my head and get a car payment loan. Because I've been watching the Ramsey Show for 3 years now, so I know everything we teach about.
Cool. Well, do you know what kind of car you're looking to get for $8,000 or $9,000?
Yeah. So I'm looking either Toyota or Honda, and then just the luxury versions of those, which would be the Lexus and the Acura.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, with 8 or 9, I'm probably going to go with the Honda or Toyota, because if you're going Lexus or Acura, you're going to end up where you were where you have a luxury car that is more expensive to maintain. And I'm a big fan. Those are the only 4 brands I love in that space because of the reliability. But I still would be looking at something cheaper right now, especially as you try to build this emergency fund. Because right now, if you had an emergency, you'd be screwed.
Right.
Even though you're out of debt.
And I don't know if this is a factor too. All the cars I've looked at have rebuilt and salvage titles, so I don't know if that's also
I wouldn't do that.
Smart. Okay.
Unless you're a mechanic, I wouldn't be buying a car that has a rebuilt or salvage title. There's too much that we don't know about what happened and frame damage and if it's safe to drive and what could go wrong with it. So if I'm you, I'm not going to a dealership because you're not going to get a deal at a dealership right now. They're all going to charge you over MSRP. When they find out you're paying cash, they're going to charge you even more because they're not making money off the deal versus financing. So if I'm you, I'm going to Facebook Marketplace, I'm going to Craigslist, and I'm going to someone saying, hey, you have it listed for $10,000, I'll give you $8,500 cash today. And you commit and you show up and you get it. Make sure whatever you look at, you get it inspected by a mechanic before you purchase it. Pre-purchase inspection is what you want to do. It'll cost you, $100, but man, it's going to give you some peace of mind before you turn around and call me and say, I bought a $10,000 car that's a lemon. What do I do? So if I was in your shoes, that's what I'd be doing. I don't think you're going to find an $8,000 or $9,000 car at a reputable dealership. You may be able to get one through an auto broker or wholesaler that can find you a good deal on something reliable. But I would get something as cheap as possible to get you from A to B, get your emergency fund saved up, try to sell your car for as much as you can get for it, and then eventually we upgrade once we're in baby step 4 through 6.
Okay. No, it sounds good. I can definitely go ahead and do that.
Yeah. The key here is doing your research and being patient. And it may take another month or 2 before you find the right car, but don't do things out of desperation. Here's how I like to look at it. The person with the most patience, the most information, always wins. And the most options. And so when you only have 2 options, that sucks. We need more options. When it's really urgent and you're really desperate, that sucks. When you have no patience, that sucks. So take your time, do a lot of research online, always get it inspected, don't do anything out of desperation, always pay cash, try to negotiate, and you'll be just fine, man. Thanks for the call. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day comes from Ecclesiastes 4:9. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. Helen Keller once said, walking with a friend in the dark is better than walking alone in the light. Folks, if you're out there listening, we get it. There's a lot of people struggling with money right now, and it can be all-consuming. You're wondering if that check's going to clear, if you can even afford to fill up at the gas station. It's always on your mind. But you shouldn't have to live with that kind of stress, and you don't have to. When you follow a proven plan, you'll discover peace with your money. In Financial Peace University, you'll learn the same plan that's helped almost 10 million people budget, save and spend wisely, pay off debt, and build wealth. You can start watching the course online right now or join a class with others for community and support. Decide today that you're done letting money stress rule your life. You can do this. Start Financial Peace University for free by visiting RamseySolutions.com/FPU. That's RamseySolutions.com/FPU. Douglas joins us up next in Los Angeles. Douglas, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks, George. I appreciate you guys' advice so much and live by it, even though I'm not part of the program.
Oh, that means a lot.
Anyhow, yeah, that's so good. My mom is 93 and in good shape. She has a living trust. I stand to be the 1/3 that inherits the house. Needs a lot of work. I do plan on living there. I'd like to fix it up and even put a pool in it because we're in Southern California, hot. Should I wait until I inherit the house to start putting some money into that myself, or should she quit deed it to me now, or what do you think is the best plan?
That is quite the predicament here. So are you going to own the house solely?
Yes, my brothers both have agreed to give me the house if I want it, and they'll take the other there's like $800,000, $900,000 that's divided between them.
Okay, I would get that piece in writing just so that when it comes down to it, I don't want them to go, whoa, hold on, the house prices have increased, and man, I want in on this house now. So if you guys are going to have that kind of arrangement, I would have it in writing, not because you don't trust each other, but because you actually love each other and you want to avoid that kind of conflict.
Thank you. Okay, great advice.
So where are you at financially? Are you out of debt? Do you have a fully funded emergency fund?
Yeah, I have an emergency fund. My home's paid off. My cars are paid off. I don't have too much of any payments anymore.
Wow.
I have a condo that I own too that gives me some rental income, but I don't have a ton of money in the bank, but I have a good living condition.
So you have a paid-for house and a paid-for condo?
Yes.
Douglas, my man, you are crushing it. So beyond that, you only have your emergency fund as far as cash goes.
That's about it. Yeah.
Well, with where you're at financially, how much of your income could you sock away for a renovation fund?
Probably about $4,000 to $5,000 a month, somewhere in there.
Okay. Well, what you could do is just start socking that money away. And when that time comes and when that house is yours, you have a big pile of renovation money that you've used intentionally for that.
Right.
So I don't know that I would start it right now. It feels a little bit weird because she's still living there, and obviously she's crushing it at 93. I hope I'm in that shape. I hope I'm alive at 93. But I would hold off and wait because we just don't know what life looks like. We don't know if she's going to live another 7 years. And so to be putting a pool in the backyard of a place that isn't really yours, it just feels a little bit premature.
I see. And it wouldn't be in my best interest for her to quit deed it to me if my brothers agreed now or anything like that.
I mean, you have a paid-for property, and so you got a place to live. When she passes, you've got time to make those renovations. In 3 months' time, you could have all of that done while you hang out at your place. And there's just a lot of life ahead of you guys. And I wouldn't quit deed it immediately. There's no need for that. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but you still won't be living there, and so there still leaves that kind of issue. So I think with where you're at financially, there's no need to start this right now. But I would say start putting the money away in a savings account. $5,000 a month, that's $60,000 a year, and in 2 years, that's $120,000. And now we can have some fun with some renovations because of your financial spot.
Awesome. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, man, thanks for the call.
I expected great advice, and I got it.
Oh, that means a lot. I appreciate the call, man. Robert is up next. He's in Sacramento, California. Robert, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Thank you for taking my call, George. I hope you're having a wonderful day.
I am. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's a nice warm day. First, I want to encourage the email of the day guy. I've been there, man. Keep chipping away. As you dig yourself out, that hole fills up, and just keep at it. You'll get out, man. My question is, I've paid off all my debt. I've made it to baby step 3, my fully funded emergency fund, and I'm at that point where I want to either go and start my 3B or initiate my investment. And I'm not quite sure how much to put into 3B or just to split halfway between 3B and 4.
Yeah, that's a great question. And there are a few ways you can go, and this is a very personal thing for a lot of people. Either you pause investing entirely and you just go all in on 3B for, maybe a year or two. I don't like going much further than that. Or you split the difference and go, hey, I'm going to invest up to the match, or I'm going to invest, 5%, 6%, and then the rest is going to go to 3B. Or we begin investing 15%, and whatever's left goes towards 3B. So it depends on the urgency of you getting into a house. How urgent is this?
Not very urgent. Where I'm renting is a very below market value for rent. So
that's amazing.
So thanks to that, I was able to get out of debt and do my Snowball stuff faster. So
yeah. So if you pause investing,
I do everything I can to keep the
how fast could you save up?
At least $3,000 a month.
Okay, so that's $36 a year. So in 2 years, you'd have $72.
Thereabouts, yeah.
Would that be a reasonable down payment of 10 to 20% for a place in your area that is reasonable?
Well, in some places in the area, it's kind of like on a stop on the way to Tahoe. So we've had a lot of Bay Area transplants kind of drive prices up quite a bit.
Do you have to live close to that area?
No, I've just been in the area because it's where I got the cheaper. So I was hoping for a cheaper house.
Is your work nearby?
Yes, I'm about 15 minutes driving distance from work.
Okay, that's good. I like to stay close to work. That's just a personal preference. Don't love a commute. So if you can find something that's close to where you work, that's reasonable, and I would start doing your research to know what you're aiming at. And go, all right, my goal is to have $80,000 saved up in 2 years. I'm going to pause investing, and then I'm going to get into that house and begin investing 15%. So how old are you?
Okay. I am 38.
Okay. Have you invested at all so far?
No. I have a 401k available to work, but due to some changes in the contract, it's no longer matched, and I'd be putting my first dollars in 6 years.
Oof. So you have $0 in retirement right now?
Correct.
Okay. Well, I mean, that changes my feelings about it. If I'm in your shoes and I'm 38 and I don't want to work till 72, I want you to begin investing. And so if that's the case, I would be investing 15%, and it's going to slow down your progress towards the down payment, but that's the trade-off we have to make because we haven't invested, in 38 years of life. And so I think we just put a pause here and we go, all right, it's going to be more like 4 years before I can get into that house instead of 2. And I'm okay with that. I'm renting below market. Hopefully it stays that way. I can afford it. My income should go up. I can work extra to make this thing happen. But right now I would be focused on getting that 15% so that in 20, 25 years from now when you retire, you can be a millionaire.
Sounds great.
Awesome. Appreciate the call, Robert. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to all of the nice people in the booth that made this show happen today. Kelly, Ben, James, Zach, Nathan, the whole gang. And you, America, we appreciate you listening. We can't do the show without you. Remember, spend wisely, save intentionally, and give generously. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Rachel Cruz, co-host on The Ramsey Show. If you want to do your debt-free scream live on the show, visit RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream. We'd love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story. That's RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream.